Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the layout. Alright, so for this update I thought I'd start off with some of my thought process. Some people actually seem to like to hear how I think, which is really scary. But anyway, alright, and I'm not going to be chatty, I'm going to keep this quick. Yeah, right, keep it quick, Rob. Alright, so this area here, again, I have to get it done because eventually the benchwork's going to come out. You know, man, not that far, but here. Anyway, when that benchwork is in for the engine service terminal, I'm going to have a hard time reaching back here to do a lot of work. I can still get to it, but I want to get as much of this done, 85–90% again, as much as possible. So, I've got to do something here. And I've been struggling the last couple of days trying to figure out what to do. What I wanted to do, since I know I have this nice big building, and I have about 4 spots here for the older cars. If I do modern stuff, it'd probably be 3, maybe only 2. Anyway, yeah, this area used to be the diesel terminal, and I didn't want to redo the track because I'm getting lazy, to be honest. Again, these turnouts are here. They have the tortoises. I don't want to mess with them. The tracks I'm okay with. In fact, the tracks have moved already. That track was moved because of my goof up with the measurement. It's not glued in yet, but alright, so I was thinking I could put a freight house in here. I think that would be cool. But looking at the room I have, that's not going to work without it really looking silly. Because one of the things you need with a freight house, you got to have room for the trucks and the REA trucks and the, you know, to come in, and otherwise it's, what's the point of having a freight house if trucks can't get there and take the freight somewhere? Alright, so that idea probably wasn't going to work just because it'd be way too much to force it in here. I think it'd be cool, but too much of a force. So another thing I really enjoy are the real early, you know, mid-50s, late 50s, very early piggyback service. I think it's really cool. So here's what I'm thinking I'm going to do. At least to have this area do something that I want. I'm going to kind of move this track over. You can see I already ripped it out. Well, ripped it out's a little bit harsh. I'd moved it over. I extracted it from its glued down state and moved it. And then I'm going to put a little 2-track, very early piggyback terminal. Typical, just a ramp. I bought the Walthers set just because it's easiest for me to do that for now. Circus style loading. Can't get a whole lot of cars in there, but that's not the intent. Again, it's just kicking off. You know, this service, if I'm back in 57, 58-ish time frame, probably more 57 if I want to still run a little bit of steam. Although I can do whatever the heck I want, right? But anyway. So, and these are some of the Walthers. Real simple Pennsylvania cars. So if I do something like that, I can get about 4 cars of this size on that track. And about the same one. So basically I can get about 8 cars in there. Now I'm not saying initially I would have 8, but I could. If I ever want to go to some of the longer Pensy flat cars, I can get about 3 of those on either track. So it gives you some flexibility. And then maybe initially, you know, they load off one track and one track is for storage or something like that. So, okay. So I kind of like that idea. And then I want to do something, another thing I like is kind of the open loading of heavy-duty flat car loads, machinery loads, and that kind of stuff. I know you don't see it a lot nowadays, but I think it's cool. So I had this Walthers overhead crane kit that I'm finding I stole parts for something else because I didn't have any rail, so I had to put some Code 70 rail in there, and I'm missing the little hoist. So I have to make up something. So, although the Walthers piggyback set comes with a crane, maybe I can use that hoist on top of that, because I probably won't use that crane. I'm still short one hoist, but anyway, okay. But I like that, and I know it's kind of hokey probably to be against the building, but I'm going to say they had it, and it used to be longer, but when they decided to go with this piggyback, they ripped that out because otherwise they couldn't get access. I initially had the crane all the way back, but then it's so close. In fact, I might have to move the tracks over because it's really, really close there. You know, basically this, which is the ramp, was sitting like that. And I just don't think that's going to be very friendly for a guy to back up his trailer right next to that, the supports for the gantry, and then up the ramp. So I said, all right, so what if I just kind of move the ramp to the back side of it? That way they're free and clear. There's no obstruction. Obviously this track here will be gone. And I'll probably cut these tracks a little bit shorter too. So then you have the basically 2 tracks under the gantry. Now most of the time they use this track. And this is all going to be paved, so you know trucks can drive on either track to pick up their loads and whatnot. But every now and then you might have to bring in 2 cars or spot one on this track. And that's a little wrinkle. I don't tell the guys that eventually come here to operate, but a little wrinkle I could throw at them. You know, you say, hey, you got a load, for whatever reason, there's 3 cars coming in. You got a spot 2 here, 1 there. And you also got cars here, so you better be careful. You better make sure you put your flats in first so you don't have to move those once they start ripping and tearing into them. So, yeah, that's for the future. Just some fun. All right, so I think I'm going to go with this. I kind of like it. Again, that's my mad maniacal thoughts. It gives me the ability to bring in some cool loads in there and do the early piggyback. Again, I'm not necessarily sure it'll be right against the building, but that's where I'm going to put it. And actually, look at that. I cannot believe I actually got lucky. What I did was I cut off the back part of the support here for the gantry and figured I'll put it against the building, and look at that. It actually lines up with the concrete. I cannot believe it. I mean, I didn't plan that. I walked back and put it in and said, "You've got to be kidding me. I have to go play the lottery or go to the casino or something." That's the luckiest I've ever been in my life. Okay, so that's the thought process. And I got too long, but that's what I'm thinking of doing. So I'm going to start working on this, and we'll see how it goes. But I kind of like the idea of having the piggyback area, which I really like. The ability to bring in some cool loads under the bridge crane. The road to access it will come in here, kind of come around the backdrop there. That's the road. It comes in from behind over there somewhere. It'll come across these tracks here. Then it'll come down around here. I made some room now. Then I think there's enough room there. Come around here. Again, those tracks will be gone. Then this gives them a turnaround area, staging for some trailers and other stuff. So I think it'll look okay and not be too forced. So that is that. Okay. We'll see. Let me get to work on this and see if I can cobble something together here. Okay, a little bit of in progress here. I was able to get the, well, a couple things I did. I did add a little loading dock at this end, some stairs. I just made it out of leftover, what do they call that stuff again? I'm losing my train of thought already. Same material as the loading docks that came with the kit. So those are all in and weathered. I added some stairs at the end of this one because it just looked like the righteous thing to do. Now the crane's just kind of sitting there for now. I just got all the asphalt in last night. This will be the ramp for the piggyback area. This is some Monster Model Works cracked concrete. Thought it'd be a little less look neat to be. That was part of the original team tracks before they kind of modified this to be a little piggyback ramp. So everything seems to work okay. My little New York Central friend's been testing all the crossings. I do have to do some work. Probably get some fast and final and match it up to the rails here because this crossing was kind of an afterthought and I kind of goofed up there with the putting the foam down. But anyway, so originally what happened was when they first started this brand new piggyback service, they'd have the drivers come in. You can see how I've trying to match that. They come in here. You can see kind of how it matches the backdrop. They were driving in here, coming across the tracks. Then they were driving up here, going right under the freaking crane, and then parking back there. That got people upset. I said, you can't be driving underneath our crane all the time. So they kind of worked together, and they kept this little area here. They didn't, repave that. And they had this real narrow little access here, at least so that they can get. You can see how narrow it is. Probably doesn't make much sense, but that way some of the drivers can come in this way and not be upsetting the people working under the bridge crane. All right, now gonna get this painted up. Hopefully I can make it look better than it looks right now. To get that, I want to get the back painted, get it installed, get the back bridge support installed. You can notice I don't have a hoist yet. I still don't have a hoist. Alright, we'll work on that. And then get it painted up and sceniced up. That means I gotta start doing the ballast and everything along the yard, although I can get there later. Again, what I'm really trying to get to is pretty much all this done, because once the new benchwork comes in, it gets harder to reach. So that's I've told you that before, but that's what I'm trying to work on. So alright, let's see if we can get this looking a little bit more like a real paved parking lot. Oakley dokley, just a quick in progress here. Got a little bit more work done. You can see the road is I guess it's a road. Lot has been painted. I just used craft paints. Picked a variety. Tried to get a light gray color, a lighter color, because in my Google mapping, it's just surprising how light. Most, not all. There's tons of varieties, so I don't think you can really be wrong doing this. But I wanted it to be a little bit lighter, so I had to find the right color, and I did look at some videos on YouTube, and some good stuff out there. But a lot of the processes some people use are freaking science projects, and I didn't have the time to, mix my own stuff and get, Eye of Newt and the blood from a red tarantula and all the other special stuff some people use. Like, look, I'm just going to paint the damn thing and go with it. Okay, what we have here, in the one area at the far end where I need to transition from some scenery coming down to another background building here. Again, I had that darn black stripe, and I was like, ugh. So what I decided to do was try this. This is a trackside scenery backdrop building. It is the 3-story factory, and I cut it. It's about 40 some inches or so. I cut it to about 22 inches or so, something like that. And it's going to transition from the background building here, cover up that ugly stripe, to the scenery I have here. I'll have a little corner to work in, but I'll be able to cover that up. So what I did was I took it off, I mounted it to like a 1/8 inch, you can't see it, but it's on a kind of a foam board that I mounted it to. Then I decided to add some details to it, because hey, it's a flap, but it still needs some details. So I did some signs, did some protection around the doors. I added door numbers, no parking, chalk your wheels, no standing. I even added a Walthers light, which is going to be fun since it's right against the backdrop. I very carefully snuck the leads down the back behind some tape. That should be okay. That shouldn't cause a huge issue with it bulging out. And then I can't drill a hole in the back there because I have the 1x4, which comes out 3/4 of an inch, so that's going to be a problem. So what I'll do is I'll bring them out the front like this. I'll run them underneath the parking lot and then drill a hole. I'm going to have a parking lot, probably some foam sitting on top of this, so I'll hide those wires. I normally like to solder little larger AWG wire on those, but in this case I may not be able to. Although if I do it out here, maybe I can. Alright, so I added some vents, some piping, I don't know what it is, just some type of stuff. So that, I think, makes it look a little bit better. I'll have another vent sticking up over there. And I was going to do more and add ductwork and stuff, but I thought, nah, that's going to be back pretty far. Back against the wall, back behind the engine terminal, the main line, and everything, but because you're going to be way back when you view this. I think that's pretty good. So, we'll see how that looks when we get it in place. Just kind of wanted to show what I did. I did paint the edge black on the foam. But I think once that gets installed, it'll look pretty nice. So, hopefully, I'm not sure how well it shows up because the light's not fantastic. Painted some yellow lines. I'm going to add that little addition there on the outside. That's actually a... oh yeah, here it is. This is a... of course I can't pick it up. It's a little... whoa. It's a European kit by Model Bond Zubehord, Thomas Oswald. I had a lot of this stuff back when I was doing my modeling of the Bavarian State Railroad, K-Bay, and it looked decent enough, and I just built it and weathered it up, and it'll be a little addition there. Again, I think the lot looks okay. I'm not saying it's perfect, but again, I'm not going to spend years trying to paint it because you're going to be back a ways. You're not going to be right in front of it. This section right in here, again, they kind of added this a little bit. It's narrow as an afterthought because the piggyback guys were coming right through the gantry, and that was really ticking people off. So along here, there used to be more of this concrete pad for the old freight house or whatever was there. So that's still there. Those are from Monster Model Works, some of their cracked concrete sheets. Pretty cool stuff. And then I just weathered it up. I painted it with the Vallejo chalk white, and then I actually went back with Woodland Scenics concrete, and what was the other color? It's a yellow color, yellow ochre, to give it some variety, and then came in with some washes and pigments. So here's my little goodie box of the different washes that I'm using. Vallejo washes, dark gray, a rust, blue gray, light gray, and some MIG powders, different rusts, and I have one actual MIG. These are ammo of MIG, a little different, but anyway. And I did find a light that I like. I'm going to add lights in here for the piggyback attack track. They're not perfect, I know, but I like the little double arm on them. I'll paint them black or a dark olive green, make it look a little bit older, but they're nice LED lights. So I'm taking the easy way out and not worrying too much about modeling whatever the Pensy would have slapped in here back in 1957 or whatever. And then what I think I'm going to do is kind of get this to a certain point. You can see I have the one part of the gantry glued in back there, letting that secure up. Get that in, get some of the ballast done in here. And I know I'm going to forget something because I was like, I'm rushing to get this done, but I still got to detail the loading dock, maybe add some more lights, and there's other things that are going to come up. Someone will see the video and goes, you ought to add this, and I'll be, oh, it's a great idea. So I think I'm not going to rush too much to get this bench work in. What I might do is actually start back in the factory area. So that gives me some time to noodle around here because I know I'll forget something. And I just want to make sure I can get this right because, again, once the bench work does go up for the engine facility, it will not be that easy. Alright, so next step is to drill for the rest of these lights. I have them marked where I'm going to put them, get the other part of the gantry in, and get the bridge sitting there. Of course, I still don't have a hoist. Get that little guy secured in. Maybe do a little bit of final weathering on the road, lot, parking lot, whatever, but I think it looks decent enough. Again, if I kind of go drone here and good old Google map, view. I think it looks okay. I'm not saying it's perfect, but I'm not spending 85 years doing all kinds of shenanigans just to paint a damn road that you're not really going to see that much. Because again, you're going to be back a little ways in the end all when the actual bench work is in. I hold the camera kind of where you're going to be able to stand, roughly about like that. You know, you won't be able to get any closer than that. So it doesn't have to be quite as detailed as I may do it over in the main factory. So, okay. Enough chit chat. Let's do maybe a little bit more work. Maybe I'll go ahead and get gantry done. Get a little bit more work done, then go ahead and slap this update up. Just 'cause I'm sure it's getting way too long. Because you know how succinct I am when I talk. But overall, it's getting there. I did add a little piece of cobblestone here. I kind of worked that in. It looks kind of beat up, and it came off of the road there for whatever reason. Loading docks, got some lines painted because guys couldn't back up straight, and some details sitting there. They're just sitting there. I'll probably wind up leaving them there because I'll forget about them. But all right, this is all we're getting there. I'll get back to work and we do one more segment, like I said, show the gantry and then get this thing up. Okay, I think I got this far enough along. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this puppy up and slap it up on the YouTube channel. I did go through last night. I was a little bit nervous, I'm not going to lie to you. Put some of the initial scenery down. Just some dirt and gravel and grime and some of the other stuff. And I'm not going to lie, like I said, I was nervous. I didn't know how it all would react when you start getting the wet water, which is just, you know, isopropyl alcohol with water as a wetting agent, and then the diluted, I think I used diluted, I forget, I had a mixture of stuff. It might have been diluted Mod Podge or matte medium or white glue, I don't know, some white stuff diluted with water. You know, how's it going to react when it gets near the foam? But everything seems okay. Now I did come through before, and all the foam, I did kind of put a quick little coat of matte varnish on it. So I don't see any areas where it bubbled up or, you know, warped or anything like that. I was also worried about this, because that's all that task board. That's what task board, basically paper. But I was a little careful with the application of the wetness, and it didn't seem to do anything. Didn't seem to warp anything. So I got the area long. I need a lot more details. I know that. I'm looking around trying to find. You know, I've never seen one of these areas before, so what type of details would be there, I don't know. I did get a couple little sheds. Let's see if I can show you. This one's kind of nice. Alright, first of all, let me get my little... You're blocking the view there, Mr. Pennsylvania Railroad. So I got some stuff in there, some things for dunnage, some little sheds. I'm sure they're going to have to store their chains and wire rope and, you know, hooks, the lifting apparatus. They have to put that somewhere. It'll probably be tons of dunnage. I probably don't have enough. Got some big boards, but I know there's probably be, you know, 4x4s laying around that they're going to brace things with. This little shed, which I figured would be kind of be like a little, I don't know, a little office, something like that. Found that. It's, you know, let me see if I can get that so you can read it. Let me just pop the f-stop because it wants to. I know it got dark, but I'm going to show you this paper here. So this is, it's actually a toilet, but I'm not using it as a toilet. I guess I could. And it's by a company called Stangel, S-T-A-N-G-E-L. They're out of Poland. I actually saw these kits. I have one other one that's a nice, a little bit bigger. I think it's called a gatekeeper house. And again, just as small, utilitarian brick buildings, shacks, sheds. You know, that's the kind of stuff that we need. This I got from EuroRailHobbies.com, European site, but I was getting some other stuff. I don't remember what, but I saw them and said, hey, they look pretty cool. HO scale. They're actually, the material for these is very similar to the material from that kit. It almost looks exactly the same, task board. So I got that, and I'm using that as a little office. have a couple little nice brick buildings, again, that just look like the generic type of brick thing that we need so much of. We have a lot of nice fancy craftsman kits and everything, but those little, again, ubiquitous sheds, and we need, I think, more of. All right, anyway, so some other little sheds I had kind of stacked around. Got some cinder blocks and some barrels and other stuff. The only real photograph I could find to kind of help guide me was this, and this was on the Internet of Things, of course. I think it's in Chicago, and it's, I don't know if it's the Erie Railroad Yard or something like that, or maybe it's out in New York City, but it's, you know, cool. It's a gantry, obviously overhead crane there. And you can see down there they got some barrels and looks like cylinders laying on the ground and some guys milling around. So that's really the only reference I could find. Because again, I not having seen these in person, I don't know what else would really be there. But okay. Piggyback ramp is in. Whether it's slightly, again, it's a relatively new installation, as are the lights. So that's why they look a little bit different. I don't really think those lights are probably prototypically correct, but I like the way they look. You can get them. We don't have a whole huge selection of various lights that you can get in HO scale, so I used them. Painted them black, painted the base concrete, get them wired up and good to go. And back here, I'm not sure about some of this stuff. I just kind of laid some things in there to make it look like there's some activity going on. Again, another little shed, maybe some oil or, who knows, gasoline or something, some type of lubricant for the guys working here. I don't know. And again, the old pieces, when they removed the gantry, because originally it came back to here, so they still left those two beams on the building. And I actually I drilled 4 holes in the top of one of them with a number 80 drill to simulate something that was bolted on there. You can't see it. I don't know why I wasted my time, but I did. There's a beam laying there on the ground, so that's it. That's the area. I did ballast the main line for a little bit in through here. I had some curb from from Prizer that I added in there. You know, I'm not sure if it's correct or not, but to me it looked okay, so I did it. So that's the area. Like I said, did the main line out to here. I probably will now finish the ballast on the main line, at least out to about here, because that's where the new benchwork will be. Get that done, get all the scenery, well, there's not a whole lot, but get some of that scenery done back there so I can continue with bench work. If I decide to do that, or if I decide to flip over to the factory, we'll see. So, what do you think? Look okay? What other details should I add? That's what I'd like to get some ideas from people, because I really don't know. And I'm sure folks will have great ideas. I do have some more things to come over. I have a couple little bins here to put in. I saw that in a photo of a piggyback area. I have a cool looking acetylene torch set that I figured they'd be in there for cutting, you know, welded on braces off of flat cars and stuff. And just, you know, what else? I'm sure there's a lot more details I can add here. So if we go drone, my Phantom DJX or whatever they are nowadays. Oops, sorry. Do a little Google Earth here. You know, I think it looks alright. Perfect? No. I did notice when I put the matte varnish on, I kind of dabbed it on with a sponge, cosmetic sponge. Kind of added some, I think it lifted some of the stuff up and added some circles and but I think it looks okay. I think it looks like, you know, it's a kind of a worn out road. So overall, I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. I did start ballasting some of the yard lead because a lot of that's got to get done now. Man, even doing this little bit of ballasting and it took so long, I was like, I have to do all of this? Oh man. Alright, so now it's time to get, oh gosh, I got to get the feeders wired up so I can try running some trains back here. Get the lights wired up, get the lights on the dock wired up. Probably going to add some more lights. I do have some more similar to this with only one, you know, the one side with a light. Figure maybe put one or two more back in here because it's newer. I have some older type ones that maybe I'll sprinkle around in here somewhere. You know, where would you have lights in here? You know, maybe at the ends, kind of at the crossings to give some light for people driving in at night. So, all right. That's it. That's the industrial area. Used to be the diesel service area. See, I can prove that to you because there it says right there. Diesel service 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Well, that was going to be a storage track for like a wrecked train, you know, crane or something like that. And now it's this. Okay. Tell me what you think. Does it look all right? Anything I should do to improve it? What other details can I add? That's the big thing. There's got to be other things I can add. You just get some cognitive dissonance trying to think of everything at once. That's why I said, to me, this is really an iterative process. You know, I'll do this. I'll get everything cleaned up. I'll get everything wired up. Put my piggyback back in there. And then go do something else because other things will come up. I'm sure I'll get some great suggestions for details from the viewers. And then we'll come back and keep doing it. But again, I gotta be careful. Because like I said before, once this benchwork's in, reaching back here is not gonna... Oh, another thing I gotta do, just thought popped in my crazy head. I'm gonna have to figure out how we're gonna uncouple back here. So I'm gonna have to try to get some magnets or something like that and see if you can do it, because you're not gonna be able to reach any of those tracks really. At least not easily. Not without reaching over the engine service facility and smashing the coal tower and the ash hoist and everything. So, all right, look at this. I babbled for another freaking 10 minutes, but try to see if that looks okay. Yeah, not bad. I think it looks all right. You know. Okay. Get this bad boy up, and then I'll leave it with like a Game of Thrones cliffhanger. More to come on the next episode of the Bennett Railroad Update. I'll have all the lights done, and once I get some, like I said, once I get some more details added and the feeder's wired up, maybe we'll show a train, a switcher coming back here and switching in and out some cars and whatnot. All right, that's it. I'm actually glad I got this done. This caused me a lot of, you might not realize it, but it caused me a lot of consternation trying to figure out how I was going to do it. Again, with the main goal being, just to reiterate, not to move these turnouts because they're already in, but can I make it into something that looks like it belongs? And to me, it looks okay. Time will tell. All right, that's it. Stay tuned for the continuing saga here of the expansion and changes and track plan revisions to the Bennett Railroad. Thanks for watching, everybody. Certainly really do appreciate it.